Ethiopia takes part in the Drone World Congress 2021 as country of honor. Thousands forced to leave home due to sudden volcanic eruption in the DRC. Greetings everyone and a very warm welcome to this news hour with the news. I'm Shifarao Lagom. The Ethiopian Ministry of Foreign Affairs Sunday issued a statement regarding the situation in Tigray amidst continued international pressures. The ministry in its statement stated that during the past several weeks, the government, through its institutional bodies, has taken decisive actions to de-escalate the conflict, address the humanitarian suffering, and look toward national healing and the rebuilding of the shattered lives and infrastructure in the Tigray state. It has opened humanitarian corridors, provided food, medicines, and other urgent assistance, assured security for humanitarian personnel, extended work visas for international workers, made available telecommunications infrastructures, most recently opened air corridors, and established a joint committee comprised of government, academic, religious leaders, and business community members that can mobilize local support for displaced persons. The government realizes that disruptions continue to take place and humanitarian workers themselves have been caught in the crossfire. The federal government is committed to holding accountable those who have committed crimes against the people of Tigray, no matter who they are. Last week, the Attorney General announced the results of an internal investigation within the Ethiopian National Defense Force, charging those who have committed abuses against the civilian population. The government respects the role of the media, domestic and international. In an inaccessible region of conflict, the media is left to report on stories that become the narrative of the nation and the lens by which people are judged and international action is taken. Reports are then spun up by social media, feeding its own frenzy. We are aware that this is often a deliberate tactic carried out by those who see grievance and anger as their mobilizing principles. Most recently, it has come to our attention that a prominent international publication will publish a report in the coming days alleging the use of chemical weapons against the people of Tigray. The charge is malicious and beyond irresponsible. It seeks to further inflame and divide the nation, particularly as it moves toward national elections, and the world is forewarned. The government will not let the space for peace, dialogue, and national reconciliation be closed by provocateurs, be they domestic or foreign. We'll continue to do right by our citizens, build our democratic and economic institutions, and carry out our transformative reform agenda, the statement concludes. Now, moving on, the construction of the Amhara Cultural Center in Addis Ababa has been officially launched in the presence of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and the State Chief Agenyo Teshagar. The cultural center is said to be vital to preserve cultural, historical, and other important value of the state of Amhara. Addressing the crowd, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has called on Ethiopians to protect their values and defend their country's sovereignty, like their forefathers did. Demis Macraw presents the story as follows.
The construction of the Amhara Cultural Center has officially been launched Sunday in a big pomp organized in Addis Ababa. The Addis Ababa city administration has been generous enough to provide more than 42,000 square meters of land to erect the edifice. Government officials, including Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, were present at the official launching ceremony. Amhara Regional State Head Agenyo Teshagar on the occasion said the center will preserve, develop and promote cultural and historical values of the people of Amhara.
የአማራ ክልል እንደምታውቁት ሰፊ የሆነ የመሰረተ ልማት ችግር ያለበት ሰፊ የሆነ የማህበራዊ ችግር ያለበት የኢኮኖሚ ችግር ያለበት ክልል ነው።
The Amhara region has been grappling with chronic economic, social and infrastructural problems. It is our responsibility to emancipate the people from the plight of such persistent problems. To this end, the entire Amhara people have to work with other Ethiopian fellow citizens and must discharge their responsibility to prosper together. I also call on the people of Amhara to fully cooperate to realize the construction of the cultural center.
Speaking at the event, Deputy Mayor of Addis Ababa City Administration, Adanech Abebe, said the Amhara Cultural Center will further enhance the government's effort to make Addis a tourism hub. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, for his part, called on Ethiopians to strengthen their unity and work for a common goal to see a prosperous Ethiopia.
Ethiopia እንደደሃ እናት ጀርባ ብዙዎች ተፈናጠውባት ሊያድጉባት ይፈልጋሉ። ሁሉንም ስታናግሩ ትልቅ ህዝብ ያለበት
Many want to take advantage of us. They say Ethiopia is a powerful country and want to work with us. But that is a mere rhetoric and too distant from their right intent. They do not care whether our people live in darkness as long as we supplicate to their interest. They want to impose their interest upon us like they have been doing for many years. Ethiopia won't relent to any external pressure. If we stand together, no one will deter our sovereignty like our forefathers.
The Amhara Development Association has mobilized more than 120 million birr for the construction of the center.
Ethiopia is taking part in the Drone Global Congress 2021 being held in Shenzhen, China, as country of honor. The Consul General of Ethiopia to Shenzhen, China, Unetu Blata, said the Congress will allow Ethiopia to adopt best experiences in the use of the drone technology, which the country has already started to benefit from. Emmanuel Jorge has more on that.
We're coming here from all parts of the globe.
The Drone World Congress 2021, which is being held from 21st to 23rd May at Shenzhen, China, seeks to deliberate on technological advancements around the globe. Representatives from the world will focus on in-depth exchanges and discussions on the application of product technology like UAVs development status, technology innovation, airspace management, drones and unmanned vehicles, among others. Ethiopia is taking part in the Congress as a country of honor. Consul General of Ethiopia to Zhengzhou, China, Unetu Blata, pointed out that as his country has already embarked on utilizing drone technology for different purposes, the Congress will be a big boost to adopt experiences.
A digital economic strategy is at the core of homegrown economic reform agenda of Ethiopia. The country has started advancing towards utilizing artificial intelligence and unmanned aerial vehicles for development in various sectors, including agriculture and health. The 5th Drone World Congress and Shenzhen International UAV Expo 2021 is a very important event for Ethiopia as it draws all professionals and industries together at one stage. In this regard, Ethiopia is highly keen to learn and share many experiences from Chinese cities like Shenzhen and others, where drone technology is booming fast, particularly in agricultural, health, forestry development, mining exploration, land management, and innovation fields.
Sending out his message from Addis Ababa, State Minister of Innovation and Technology Ahmedin Mohammed, for his part, said the Congress is an important platform for Ethiopia to look for international technological advancements that will serve its interest of developing its digital strategy.
Our role as a ministry is to support and create an enabling on policy, access to finance, networking and infrastructure. This role is only achieved through building UAS ecosystem involving international actors as strategic partners. Having said this, participation in this Congress and Expo is a unique opportunity for Ethiopia because it will provide the platform to share our experience in the sector and learn best experience elsewhere and forge collaborations to further develop our UAV initiatives for the benefit of our economic and social development of our country.
As Ethiopia and China are celebrating their 50th year diplomatic anniversary, the event is dubbed critical to lift their long-standing relations to a higher level.
Hi, my name is Brooke Thomas Haftweld. I was born and raised in the UK. I do not like what the Egyptians are doing to Ethiopia. This is my dam.
It's my dam.
It's my dam. It's my dam. It's my dam.
It is my dam.
It is my dam. It's my dam.
Now moving to GERD stories, a seasoned Ethiopian politician says external pressure against Ethiopia is a reflection of their desire to kill a reformed and democratic government in the making. The politician Dima Nego told ETV that Western governments, particularly the US and the UK, do not want many countries to build strong governments based on majority vote. Sintayo Tamrat reports.
The US, among several Western governments, is exerting huge pressure on Ethiopia using the law enforcement operation in Tigray as a pretext. Some have commented that this is nothing but an attempt to install a weak and ineffective government in Ethiopia. One such politician is Dima Nego. The founder of the Oromo Liberation Front, Dima took position as a minister during the transitional government. Also, he stayed abroad after the TPLF evicted many of the opposition. Dima has returned soon after the reform 3 years ago. Dima says the US cannot tell Ethiopia what to do, or this will constitute a clear violation of its sovereignty.
Not just in this country, but in many other countries as well. Western powers, especially the United States and the United Kingdom, do not like governments, regimes based on a significant proportion of the country's population. They don't want a majority rule. They want a system of government that is controlled by small minorities so that they are susceptible to their pressures and so that they also serve their interests in one way or the other. I think that is at the heart of the problem.
Massive as their efforts may be, they cannot succeed with restoring the TPLF since the TPLF has discredited itself through 3 decades of misrule and gross human rights violations across the country.
One thing is obvious, the TPLF is not going to be restored to power. It will not be restored. Any attempt by any external force will not make it possible for them to return to power. It's a spent force. It has discredited itself through 3 decades of maladministration, misrule, and gross violations of human rights throughout the country. It is a spent force. It cannot be returned to power, but the West wants to establish some leverage in the country so that it can influence future developments in this country.
These governments are trying to make pressures on Ethiopia also because they might have felt that they have been divested of their interests in the country. The 1991 misdeed of the United States government clearly evidences the sort of government they want to prevail in Ethiopia.
Of all previous regimes in recent history, the TPLF served the interests of these countries very well, more than any other previous government. So I remember when the TPLF was installed in power, when the former military government collapsed in 1991. I was at the London conference, and we tried to advise, begged the United States to organize some sort of a national dialogue so that a broad-based national government would be formed in Ethiopia. But instead, the United States ignored our pleas and allowed the TPLF to take control of Addis Ababa and then form a provisional government. Well, that was a mistake. I mean, we thought, well, at the time, they thought the TPLF is the one force that serves their interests. If a broad-based government was established, they thought it would have a broader support and would not be amenable to pressures from outside.
Welcome back. You're still watching Addis News Hour. The Addis-based diplomatic community has commended Ethiopia's decision to provide 1 billion trees to neighboring countries as part of its green regional integration plan. They've also vowed to stand by Ethiopia in its determination to make the East African nation greener and more climate resilient. The diplomatic communities have been briefed on the third edition of Ethiopian Green Legacy Initiative, and the report is presented as follows. Ethiopia has been resolute to restore its greenery, which has been lost for a number of reasons. Part of this initiation is the Green Legacy Initiative, which has been spearheaded by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. This initiative will plant 6 billion trees this rainy season across the country. It will also go beyond Ethiopia with additional 1 billion trees to neighboring countries as part of the move to create a green Africa.
For our neighboring countries, how do we distribute? To South Sudan, we use our river corridor, which is transboundary, the so-called Baro-Akobo River. In that, together with our brothers and sisters in South Sudan, we're targeting to plant 91 million. In Sudan, in Abai River, about 356 million, Eritrea 29, Djibouti 9 million, Somalia 129 million, Kenya 386 million. Total target is 1 billion.
Ethiopia donating trees to the neighboring countries, 1 billion trees, goes towards strengthening integration of the East African region. Another 1 billion in the neighborhood. I'm from Kenya. It's going to be wonderful.
Ethiopia thinks about its neighbors, take care of everybody. So it means, and it is obvious for me, that my country also must support this project, and all of us need to be together in this.
This is not only the task of the government, the task of the Ethiopian people, but also should be a task of the people in the world. I think Ethiopia can initiate this great legacy not only in Ethiopia, but also in the region and in the African continent. And if it is possible, Ethiopia have to sound their voice to the world to keep our earth green and then keep plants in everywhere in the world.
Ethiopia is the most important country in the Horn of Africa, let's say the largest, is the second largest population in Africa, and I think it is a very important and generous act that the Ethiopian people are doing towards a country where there are, steady droughts. I'm thinking, for example, about Somalia, and that is very dry, very desertic, very warm. This is a very important activity that Ethiopia is doing and showing itself generous towards its neighborhood. After all, this is our planet. It is a kind of human done things that we have borders. These are activities that go beyond borders.
This action has also galvanized diplomatic communities in Ethiopia to plant more trees.
Actually, I personally, I'm admire of Dr. Abiy efforts, what he does for country, what he does for people, and he tries to unite all nations on this very important for everybody problem, because nature must be renewed and every one of us should help it.
I really appreciate what Ethiopian government initiated, and then we always support it. In 2019, we planted about 100 trees. In 2020, we also planted trees in the Embassy of Indonesian compound. And also this year, we are going to plant another trees. And in fact, not only the youth, business people, but also the students. Even the student from Adama, they came to our embassy about 2 weeks ago. They planted the trees. And that is also one of our programs. And we always support the the program of the government of Ethiopia.
This is really the reply that we should give, not only in Ethiopia, but in the whole world. I think that's the time we take care of our planet, and we will stand ready and close to the Ethiopian authorities in order to fulfill this dream, to see Ethiopia green.
When you talk of trees, you are talking about life. Trees, you are talking about life. So the initiative is very good. The legacy of 6 billion trees is a lot of trees, but we can never have enough trees on the African continent. There are so many issues. So the more trees we plant, the better for us. For Ethiopia, particularly here, it will make Ethiopia greener. It will be a lot of source for water, and a very good initiative.
Strengthening public diplomacy between Ethiopia and Indonesia is dubbed crucial to boost up their multifaceted cooperation. The 2021 Indonesia-Ethiopia Friendship Golf Tournament has been held here in Addis Ababa with the aim of beefing up the people-to-people ties between the two nations. Jerusalem Betsia reports.
The close ties between Indonesia and Ethiopia started, among others, by the presence of the Ethiopian delegation to the Asian African Conference in Bandung in 1955. The relationship between Indonesia and Ethiopia is one of the most important relations in the region of Africa, and it has been growing in trade and investment, socio-cultural and people-to-people ties from time to time. Through the initiative by Indonesian Embassy in Ethiopia, the 2021 Indonesia-Ethiopia Invitational and Friendship Golf Tournament has been held here in Addis on Saturday with the aim of strengthening people-to-people ties between the two nations. This golf tournament is one of the events to commemorate the 60 years of bilateral relation between Ethiopia and Indonesia, which established in 1961. At the ceremony, Mollaling Asfaw from Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia said the bilateral cooperation among the two nations is growing, and this sport event is thought to further cement the public diplomacy for mutual benefit.
The two countries have achieved for the last 6 decades a lot of social, economic and political achievements. This golf tournament also will create among this or apart from government to government engagement, this people to people engagement, as well as, there are different ambassadors coming here. There are different people coming here, some officials also coming here. So this will help us to engage in public to public relationship. Always when we are engaging with some country, we should have to have the comprehensive approach. People to people, business to business, and the last people to people also, that's very important. So that this public engagement will help us to increase or to enhance our bilateral relationship to the next level high.
Indonesian ambassador to Ethiopia, on his part, said heightening people-to-people ties is at the heart of elevating other bilateral relations between countries.
The relationship between the two countries is not only between government to government. The role of the non-government actors to boost and to develop and to encourage our two bilateral relations very, very important. So this golf tournament will connect our heart, Indonesian heart and Ethiopian heart. So this is just a connecting Indonesian people and Ethiopian people to make the relationship better and stronger.
RD-based ambassadors from different countries to Ethiopia also took part in the golf tournament.
Well, I'd like to join celebrating 60 years of relations between our friends, great friends from Indonesia and Ethiopia. Under the COVID, it's very difficult to have so many people in a closed area, but here we can go outside, enjoy the beautiful weather and the beautiful air, and mingle with the people. I think it's a great idea.
Sport is a matter to join people and to make new friends. In fact, every time I changed my post abroad, I try to get enrolled to some sport club in order to make friends, to know people. Yes, absolutely. Sports is the best way to make friends and to promote friendship.
Best golfers have been awarded by the organizer of the tournament.
Wageni mwakaribishwa Kenya yetu, hakuna matata.
Longolongo nyingi.
Haya unaishi wapi?
The name again. Mawenzi. Mawenzi.
Maskani yako Kinondoni, nyumba namba haijulikani.
A huge volcanic eruption in the DRC has forced thousands to flee their homes. The government has launched an evacuation plan for the eastern city of Goma, which is home to nearly 2 million people. So far, it's not known if there are any casualties. Taking the mattresses and other belongings, thousands of residents fled towards the border with Rwanda in the east, hours before the government announced the evacuation plan. Rwandan authorities said about 3,000 people already had officially crossed from Goma. Rwanda's state media said people would be accommodated in schools and places of worship.